recording. Today's lesson day. Oh, I had a dream last night that I was wearing this red flouncy dress, and so it was people. So I just ordered the dress that I was wearing in my dream.
Oh my God!
I haven't ordered a new dress. I haven't done any clothes shopping. I think I bought some socks and underwear, but it's just nice to treat yourself to a new garment now and then.
So did you find the one that you saw in your dream?
Not exactly, but close enough.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very feminine. Yeah. In the dream, I was really feeling like connected to my essence, my feminine essence.
Mm.
So. We're getting some background noise, so I'm going to go ahead and mute. And then whoever wants to speak can just unmute themselves. That way we don't have all the background noise going on. So how's everyone doing? Are you hanging in there now that we've had our setback and we're going to be cloistered and kind of back to sheltering in place? I love that phrase, sheltering in place.
Did you hear that?
What's that?
Where did you hear that?
That phrase?
No, for Santa Barbara, are things changing again?
Well, the governor for the whole state, he rolled back the openings. So now all the bars, the gyms, you know, everything that had reopened, the hairstyle salon.
Restaurants?
Yeah, indoor dining. I think outdoor dining is still okay, right? I haven't gone to a restaurant, but yeah, we rolled that all back again because the numbers are kind of exploding. So hopefully you're all staying really safe and we can work on our journals. And Robin and I were talking at the beginning how this is just an invitation to do our inner work and our personal growth and just to really connect to our essence. So it's a great opportunity that we have to be doing our art journaling. Okay, well, it's 12:31. I'll go ahead and, okay, so Mary has some announcements of events in the chat. Okay. So today we're doing the artist creator archetype, and I've been trying to decide what to say about this one. And the weird thing is that this is the one, I mean, this is my identity, right? Who are you? I'm an artist. And the weird thing is that even though it's the one that I embody the most, it's the one that I have the most difficulty describing or explaining or putting into words. And I've been trying to wrap my head around that idea in itself. And I think it's because when we are activating the artist creator archetype, we're in the right side of our brain. And it's the opposite of the logical part of the brain. It's intuitive. And by nature, it's not really, I mean, the artist works in imagery and symbolism and color and shapes, you know, because they are expressing something that can't be expressed verbally. And also to me, there's a lot of feeling and emotional contribution to this archetype. Like to me, it's really an expression and of a lot of feelings usually, as well as it can be conceptual thoughts. So the artist is predominantly right-brained, although I will say that there is the left brain brought into it. So that's the beauty of it, that, you know, it's so blissful to do art because we're activating both our right and our left brain. So it's a complex archetype because, just like with the magician, we are really, and with the healer, we're really connected and plugged into sacred space and to the creator, the great creator, source energy, life force, God, however you want to name that unseen energy that activates all of life and that causes babies to be born and plants to grow and things to die, all the cycles of life. We have to really be open to receiving that. And I would say that, like the Joker, trickster, we are self-contained enough that we can be authentic in our expression and our action. But there's a difference here because in a large sense, our boundaries disappear in a way because our sensory perception is heightened and we're taking in a lot more. We're receiving, subtle energies, really. And so you actually have to kind of diffuse and open up your boundaries to other realms, really, to, other parts of life. You can't just be totally self-contained, I don't think. So that's another distinction. Also, the artist creator is very innovative, very original, and very authentic, but it's an expression. So kind of like the magician, where you're co-creating to, on the material plane. This is also on the material plane, and it does involve co-creation in that you're tapped into the higher energies, but there's actually a little more of your own personal flavor, your own personal essence, your own personal manifestation of the divine that comes through and that is expressed. So I think, and I will also say that I think in this time of COVID, when all of our familiar structures and our rhythms and our, even our daily regimes have all been kind of thrown out the window, that is actually a really great invitation too for innovation and creativity to come in, because it's more chaotic. And so we have to create, we have to actually bring order to the chaos. And I would say that's another quality of the artist creator, is bringing order out of the chaos. The chaos is the field of unseen energy, and we're creating structure and order to it. Sometimes that's a matter of just narrowing your focus, actually, and honing in on one concept or one idea that you want to express. So hopefully during the meditation, I'll help you feel into it in yourself on a more energetic level. But that's kind of how I would describe this archetype. So the artist is one who, creates an aesthetic object. And I would say the creator is somebody who creates, they can create a house, by doing the decor and the furnishings. They can create a baby, they can create a family, they can create a career. So the artist hones in on artwork and aesthetically, aesthetically, I'm not going to say pleasing because it's not always pleasing, but some kind of tangible art object that is portraying an expression of a feeling or an idea. And then the creator does a bigger, idea of that. It's not just sculpture or a painting or a song or a dance. And that's the other thing. Think in terms of lots of different art forms. It's not just two-dimensional art, that there's poetry and, ballet, and there's lots of different art forms out there. Mandalas and mosaics and, ceramics and all kinds of things, jewelry. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions so far about is that pretty clear, hopefully?
I have a question. So are you suggesting that the artist is like the individual expression or embodiment, whereas the creator is the more global structure, scene, field energy? I'm just curious.
No, I'm not saying that. I think it's coming from the same place and the same orientation and the same embodiment. The expression is different. With the artist, it's like an art form, like a specific art form, like painting or sculpture or singing, music, or any of the traditional like artist roles. The creator is somebody who creates, like I was naming those other examples, like
Build a house.
Yeah.
Has a baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
or a family, or you can create a lifestyle. You can create, any number of things. It doesn't have to actually be a material thing, really. I mean, you can create a persona, right? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show what I did for my painting. Let's see. So I decided to use a mixture of paints and media that I haven't used before. I recently got these oil pastels, and I'm going to start with these. They will resist the watercolor, and I've used them a little bit to layer on top. They're fairly new. I actually bought them for my workshop that I led recently. And I'm just going to do some intuitive mark making, and I'm just grabbing whatever colors draw me. So it's really an intuitive flow of expression. And I'm just doing whatever kind of doodles and marks and lines that I have the urge to do. It's really, you're dropping down. We'll do it in the meditation, but you're really down in your second chakra, which is the water. It's the creative chakra. So I'm going to be drawing these in. And actually, when I first started out, I actually had this vague idea of these are actually little mark makings representing different traumas in the timeline of my life. And I'm giving them visual form. I'm kind of what I've been doing actually during this spiritual quarantine time. And it hasn't always been intentional or conscious, but I've been revisiting past traumas that I think I never fully dealt with. And they've just been coming up and getting released. I've been going through a lot of old traumas. So I think that's what this is, kind of a visual expression of. And then I'm going to mix up my watercolors. So these are my transparent watercolors. And again, I'm using whatever colors and strokes that feel right. And you can see when I go over this this oil resist, the crayon shows through because it's not water soluble. So it has kind of a cool effect. I like this. And I had never used this combination before. So even if you don't have these particular materials, I encourage you to be innovative, right? Because you're doing the artist archetype, and tap into some materials or combination of materials that you haven't done before. You can use your Sharpie markers. You could use kids' crayons, would like do a similar thing. My top layer, I'm going to do a top layer with some acrylic craft paint. So I will have had 3 mediums on here. I'm mixing up some pink, and I'm kind of going into the violet down here at the bottom, doing a little bit of patterning and putting it over that combustible. I'm going to speed this along a little. I'm putting some yellow green. I did that over the yellow green, but also into here. You know, I'm really not thinking at all. I'm just moving my brush. But you do want to be careful. You don't want to overwork it or go into too many. Try to keep your colors fresh. If you go into it with too many colors, it can really get muddy. So this is it's just some kind of cheap acrylic craft paint that I've had sitting around. And I'm squeezing it right onto the paper. Again, just using colors that call to me. I went with a bit more of a pastel. It's funny, I'm working with traumas and I'm using these soft pastel colors, but I think it's because I finally through it and making peace with a lot of it. I think I'm not so triggered or jolted by the sharpness of it. There's an integration process happening. And I'm squeezing out some yellow. I actually got a bit more down there than I wanted, so I'll be spreading it around the page. And then some purple. I went along that purple line. And then I'm just going to kind of smear it around, and I'm going over that blue, and I'm taking some of the extra paint and moving it into some of the other areas. So I put it all around the top up there between the orange, and then kind of filled in quite a bit because I had so much yellow. So, you know, the yellow, and that's the other thing about the artist, the innovation part, is sometimes you let it's a process, right? Because you're working with these materials and they have their own particular qualities and ways of interacting with the paper and you and the brush, and you learn to go with it. So if you have extra yellow paint, you just, okay, I'm going to have a lot of yellow. You know, if the paint does a certain thing, you just kind of go with it, and you're open. Again, your boundaries are open enough that you can allow the materials to kind of penetrate you and you respond to it. So it's like a relationship. I mean, I always say art is my main man, right? He's my main guy, art. He's my love affair. He has been with me through all my everything, my whole life. He's my one stable relationship and companion. And it is like a relationship. And it's a give and take. You know, you listen to it, you listen to each other, you react to each other, you respond to each other, and you try to please each other. and I sprayed some water. This was really gloppy paint, so I just sprayed some, just thought, well, I'll see what kind of texture I get when I add a little water to this and change the quality of that line. I did some more purple up there. Then I added some orange. Sorry, this thing's kind of in the way. I mixed some of the orange into the yellow to break it up a little bit. Oh, I know, I was grabbing some yellow too. I just wanted to kind of, I ran out of orange here, so I grabbed some of the thicker yellow to bring into this. Okay, so that's what I'll show you the painting. So this is what the painting ended up looking like. I love how this kind of looks like a sailboat riding on the water over here. I kind of liked that. And this is my collage. So I'll read you my poem.
We can't see the whole collage if you don't mind shrinking it down so we can see it.
Oh, you can't see that?
No, I can see it.
It's cut off to the,
I can see it.
It's cut off to what edge? You're muted
it
now.
was my screen. It wasn't you.
Yeah, I think you can manipulate it around. If you know, I think you can actually take it and move it around on your screen.
Yeah, it was my view setting.
Okay, all right. My left side is my creator side and my right side is my artist. By the way, her dress, she's got this dress with eyes on it and it says Miss Art World. I am a creator, a child of the goddess, senses wide open, flowing with her creative love, at one with the flowers and birds, a celebration of nature. I am an artist, deeply immersed in my rich fertility, arising from her watery realm. And that's her down here on the couch with the rabbit. The rabbit is a symbol of fertility. With eyes that see nuanced subtlety and a heart that is moved by beauty, flows through me as a gift of gratitude back to her heart, returned to source. So, like, to me, art is kind of a prayer of gratitude. It's receiving. I am so moved by, the divine beauty of nature. And I want to celebrate it in my painting and offer it back as a gift of gratitude. That's kind of my process. So that's what I put here. And I didn't really know why I just loved this baby and I just wanted to put her here and I didn't know why. But I think it's because, when babies are born, they are so wide open. They've just come directly from that place. And they still really carry the energy and they're so open. They don't have a sense of being a separate self yet. They really are one with the flowers and the birds and everything. So that's my artist.
I have one quick question. Was your red sail, was that the pastel?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the oil pastel. Yeah. It was like an arrow. It was actually, to me, that's where I started the thing. and it was my first trauma, and the arrow was going this way and the arrow came back. It changed, it altered the course of my life. And actually that first trauma was my early childhood sexual abuse when I was 4. And what that did was, any type of childhood sexual abuse, your boundaries aren't fully formed yet, and they're forming, and it changes your, I've had to do a lot of work around boundaries. It alters your boundaries, and it makes you more penetrable by outer forces. But the gift in that was that it opened me up to really receive subtle energies and really be, and have become an empath. Really, and sometimes it wasn't useful or it was unwanted, but that's how it was for me. And I channeled that into art. Like, I really focused on receiving the beauty of nature, and being so moved in my heart that it's like this sense of love. So it was kind of that was my boundary, and my protection was being in that realm. But that's what that mark was about. The arrow went whoop, changed everything.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Carissa.
You're welcome. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead. Are we ready to do the meditation?
I
think-
love this.
Oh,
Your
good.
piece.
You like this archetype?
I love it. And I love your page. It's
Thank
really
you.
magical and speaks to me.
Good, good. Yeah, the main thing is to just be open and fluid and have fun and enjoy it. So anyway, let's go into our meditation, and I'll try and help you get there. Okay, so settle back into your chair, and you can allow your back even to rest against the back of your chair if that's comfortable. And feel your sits bones really firmly planted on the chair, and your feet solidly on the ground, really connecting you to the foundation beneath you. And breathe into your lower belly. And do a brief scan of your body from head to toe, and consciously release any knots or tension or holding that you might notice as you just do a scan. Bring your awareness to your sacral chakra. It's just a couple inches below your navel. It's in your womb space. And breathe into that area so that your low belly expands on your in-breath fully. A lot of times we clinch that in, thinking we need to not show our belly, but the Asians believe that a big, full, round Buddha belly shows power. So really expand that lower belly and allow that power center to really fill up with your awareness, your oxygen, and your consciousness. Like a big balloon. And now visualize this area as a large red orange, a large orange ball of energy spinning around and around and around. And as it spins, it spews out any debris or blockages that have been placed here in your womb space, in your creative center. See that orange ball glowing brighter and brighter as it spews out all the darkness and all the stuck debris. Now sense into the watery flow and realm that this center arises from. And try to notice kind of this flow, almost like waves, gentle waves, moving up and down in a really gentle flow. Like maybe you are on a sailboat, just kind of rocking with the lapping waves. Feel that flow of movement and water. This is the same water of all the oceans and the rivers and the lakes and the streams and the ponds. The same water flows through you. Allow yourself to be moved by this fluid, emotional, feeling realm. Tune in to any kind of feelings or emotions that start to come forth as you're just dropping in and feeling the flow of this water. See if there's any feelings or emotions. And allow them to come forth, rise up, and welcome them into your heart space. Hold them in your space, the space of your loving, warm, nourishing, welcoming heart. And allow them to just be held there with love. Now bring them up to your throat chakra. And this center is a beautiful turquoise sky blue ball of light that's spinning around and around and around. And again, it's spewing out any blockages or restrictions that have previously been put into place that block your flow of expression. So allow that to open up, spew out the debris, and fill with the beautiful turquoise sky blue light and energy. This center is calling you to express those feelings, express the watery realm into whatever form or shape resonates with you. It may not be painting, so just take note of any kind of expression that might be inviting you to pursue. And from this place of flow and open-hearted, loving safety and protection, and uninhibited, freed up expression, you can go ahead and create your art. And we give thanks to the watery realms of life and the loving source of divine energy that cycles through all of us. And we'll come back to our circle. So in the chakra system, the womb, the second chakra, the orange one, is where the creativity starts. Like that's the inception of it, that's the conception of it. And then the throat chakra is the expression of it. That's where the creativity is expressed as your individual, expression, but it is birthed, it's actually literally birthed in your womb space, in your creative chakra. So there's the common, and those two centers are actually related. The throat and the sacral, they're actually related on a lot of levels. Like cranial sacral work, it kind of works with uniting those two chakras. And oftentimes in our culture, and especially as females growing up in the 50s and 60s, our throat chakra was really blocked, a lot. So I find that women are frequently mostly blocked in the throat chakra. It takes a lot of work. Singing and actually, exercising your voice is really good for opening it up, and just verbally, like releasing any kind of sound or chant or even screaming and yelling can be beneficial. So if you have blocks in expression of your creativity, that's a good place to start. Okay.
Carissa,
Yeah.
when I was doing that meditation, my art spoke up and said that it comes from my belly, from my stomach, and its color is yellow,
Oh, okay.
which really did shock me.
Interesting.
But that's what it said.
Good. So
And
that's your personal power center.
and my sacral chakra said that my laughter and joy, my joy de vivre, comes from it. The
Great.
orange said, this is your laughter and your joy.
Great.
And I've never had my chakras argue with me before.
Yeah, they're the truth tellers. We have to listen to them.
They've never argued with me before, but they both spoke up.
That's beautiful, Peggy. I'm happy for you that you got such a clear, direct message from that. Well,
Yeah, I needed to share that.
It is empowering to be an artist and a creator, it's very empowering, really. So I'm not surprised that that personal power center wants to be a big part of it.
Yeah, and I will agree that my throat chakra was making noises through the whole thing, saying that its expression was toning.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Saying, yes, I'm here. I'm going to put it out there, and my expression is toning.
Great.
So there were, those three were really yakking loudly at me.
Good. That's wonderful.
Carissa, I wasn't quite clear. I think my mind went adrift. When you were down in the water, what were you moving up to the throat? What kind of
Any
energy?
kind of feelings or emotions or, you know,
Good or bad? Not good or bad. I don't want to judge anybody.
anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
there's
my.
no bad emotions. There's no bad
Okay.
feelings. So anything. You know, oftentimes as artists, we do, you know, we go into art because we have a lot of excess emotional feelings and things that are hard to contain, and we need to kind of get it out there. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I know that there's some very cerebral artists, but I think most artists have a lot of feelings and emotions that need to be kind of taken out of them and put into some kind of form, you know. So it's good to kind of just be in touch with that.
Carissa, can you just discuss a little bit the cranial sacral work, unifying those two chakras?
Yeah. Have you had cranial sacral work done? Yeah, what they do is, you know, it's very gentle work, and they hold the back of your, kind of the back of your neck. It's actually the base of your skull. So it's still in your throat chakra with one hand, and then one hand behind the sacral chakra, like right on your sacrum. By the way, the reason it's called sacral is because it is considered sacred, a sacred energy center. And what it does is it brings the rhythms of the two together, because they can often be disjointed or separate. And somehow just by holding them, and I think the practitioner really focuses and tunes in and concentrates, and they bring their own wholeness, their own sense of wholeness into the holding. And it basically, it's the rhythms, it's the energetic rhythms between the two become harmonized. And you drop down, 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 down into really deep, you know, I don't know all the alpha, the beta, and the theta waves, but you go really down into the slow, deep waves. And the deepest place you get, it's like, you know, she described it to me. Now I actually reached, I'm highly, I'm highly suggestive because I am so open, but she dropped me down to the deepest. It's a deep violet wave. And it's like the bottom of the ocean where it's, even though it's in the water, it's below all the movement, and it's really calm and still and stable. So I think it's just a way to kind of, you know, get the rhythms together, and then they get slowed down and more of like of an even flow.
Like a resonant vibration.
Yeah, because I think where there tends to be a split between our head, our upper chakras and our lower chakras. And for some reason, these two energy centers, bringing them together helps, you know, heal that split and kind of unify them and bring them together. Anytime someone is dissociating, where they're cutting off from their body and fleeing trauma, you kind of, you know, get out of your body and separate. You need to come back in, but in a safe way. So.
That's fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very calming. And that's why I think too, like when you're doing art, you're using both parts of your hemispheres of your brain, but you're also using both the upper and the lower centers of our bodies. We're using our head, we're using our mind, we're making decisions, we're deciding what color and what brush and what shape to put on, you know, with our mental mind. But we're also really tuned into the flow and the emotions and the physicality of being in our body. So there's an ecstasy and a bliss and a calming that happens when you're doing your art, which I think is why he's been my constant companion. He got me through a lot of hard things in life because it's a very soothing, calming, healing activity to do any kind of art form.
So is that why you can, like, sometimes I'm afraid to go to it? To go to art? That's what I find. I have to really like go, okay, you can do this. Rather than like doing art.
Do you know what part of you is afraid or what you're afraid of?
Just settling down and being still and actually seeing what happens or feeling.
Yeah. It's a fear of coming fully into your body and
something.
Yeah.
Okay. I did work.
We have been punished in the, you know, in the past for expressing our art. Hitler refused to accept certain artists and called their art obscene and did his best to destroy their art.
I'm
Art
wondering
he
if
disagreed with.
I'm wondering if Hitler was like that because he was turned away from the art field. He wanted to be a professional architect. And I'm wondering if he took his frustrations out on his, I mean, he didn't pursue it, but I'm just wondering if, this is Emma, sorry, my profile's there, but I'm wondering if he was just such an angry little boy who they wouldn't let him use his crayons, that he said, well, then I don't like your art either.
No,
I'm just wondering.
You are right, Emma. You're absolutely right. I read a lot about it. He was refused to 2 art schools in Austria.
Right.
And many very gifted Jewish artists were running the schools,
Right.
and many of the students were gifted. And his hatred of the Jewish came from those rejections. He projected his own failures onto them.
Yeah, I think he was just so unevolved.
Yeah.
I just read a review of a new book, and I'm
Oh.
trying to think of the name of it, but it goes into exactly what you were saying about his rejection, what all of you were saying, the rejection from art school, and yes, there were renowned Jewish professors, and that he transferred their rejection of him onto very interesting. I wish I could think of the name of it. I can't think of it right now, but it's brand new.
Oh, interesting.
If I can get the name of it, I'll send it to you folks.
Thank you. Yeah, if you'd share that would be great.
I'll go look. I know where the review was. I just have to look it up, and I'll get it to you.
Thank
I don't
you.
know, because I went to on a high school in Austria as an exchange student.
If I can get
I don't know how things were different then, but Austria has a very formulaic way of determining what schools you can attend at every level, and part of it has to do with if your family went there or not, and part of it has to do with where you were at each level gets you to the next level, and the choices that are made, and you can't really go from one to another like you can in America. So it's kind of a different educational system, and it's hard to think about it in the context of the one that we grew up with. It's just really, really different.
Interesting.
I think that's the same for most of Europe. I think that's the British level of education also.
But if I could say something, for Carissa, this art journaling class has been amazing for me. Like just being able to put my art and just my thoughts on paper has been amazing. That I don't know, I've just gotten so much out of this class that it's so powerful that,
Good, Wendy. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. It has brought things up that I didn't know were there. It set them free. It healed them. It's been really like a revolution.
Yeah.
Well,
It
yeah,
has.
and it's all dependent on how much you put into it, of course, right?
Yeah,
And
well, I guess
do
I'm a rabble rouser.
and I do really think that's what this time is about, you know?
But the package you put together with the meditation and the poetry,
Yeah.
I think the energy is amplified and multiplied by this multi-approach. I have never experienced anything like it before either. So we're very lucky, Teresa. Thank you.
That's true, and I want to give everybody who participates a kudos, because I've never seen this class get to this level before. There's an extraordinary contribution from each individual that's making an unparalleled collaboration here.
Yeah, it's true. It's really become this whole thing of its own.
Yeah.
Carissa, it's Nancy, and I wanted to add to what Peggy just said. I think during this time that we're on Zoom and that we all have a chance, if we want, to show our work, but then to talk and have poetry and our different writing, it's added a whole, like Peggy said, a whole new level that we kind of are above and beyond our classroom. And I've heard so much from so many of our classmates about the thoughts behind their art. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and toward the end of our classes in the Schott Center, I was trying more and more to read poetry and invite discussion, but I think I'm going to try to take, when we do go back, hopefully in January, I'm going to try to take some of this sharing time into the classroom to keep this going, because it seems really, I mean, to me, it's just been so meaningful and really helped me a lot to connect and just have these discussions and sharing. So there have been some blessings and some gifts with the Zoom time, and I'm going to try and take some of that into the room when we go back.
Right. Something about this format where you can see everybody, like if you're sitting in the back of the classroom, you don't have as personal of a feeling of everyone in the class always.
Right. And you don't get that close up of their pages either.
Right.
Exactly. So I think maybe this format has brought this to the group as well.
Yeah. And maybe we can do something like take a break and have our pages open and go around and look at everyone's, or I don't know, we'll come up with something.
Or maybe we can have a separate Zoom session.
Yeah.
When people are in their homes, there's a safety.
Good idea.
To that.
I agree. You get the essence of the person a little bit because you see a little bit of their surroundings too. So it's very personal in a funny way. Safe but personal.
Maybe, but I think it's all of the things you all said in addition, like you see everyone's faces, we get to look at the pictures more closely, and we're dedicating a period of time to sharing.
And there's something about, for me, being in my own personal space, I do feel more safe to share really personal stuff than being in the Schott Center, which is a public institution, right?
Where somebody could walk in.
Right, right.
And I agree with Robin that face-to-face is one of the biggest bonding tools there is.
Yeah.
And also, are you wanting to record this now because we're still recording, or?
Yeah, but it's only for our class anyway, so
it's okay. So it doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter. No one else is going to hear this.
And in the classroom, we used to do studio time, so we were working. And here we're not working. I mean, I know some people may work while we're together, but mostly we're not working on stuff.
Right.
And
So
we
we're not,
will-
our focus isn't on creating our art in the time like it was in the classroom, where we were all like in our little pod doing our art thing.
I still want to
Yeah.
incorporate that though when we go back, but it might not be the whole time. We might, devote.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a little bit of the face-to-face and the connecting at more levels,
Yeah.
at deeper levels is
Yeah.
what's deepening this.
Yeah.
Carissa,
Uh-huh.
also, I've said this before, but just sharing myself through the poetry
Yeah.
and writing
Yes.
has really been a big change for me.
Yeah.
And very special that I've gotten that out of this class. It's added a lot.
Good. Yeah.
I've also appreciated not having to haul all my gear.
I am the same way. And I can't think so fast. I need a couple days to mull over it. I let it stew. And then ideas come. I feel like after 3 days, it takes shape. I can't do it in a quick time in the class. And I usually don't have what I need with me.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, that's a really
Totally
good point.
makes sense.
So
Yeah.
maybe we could take some of the studio time and use it for Zoom and sharing. I don't know. I don't know what would work for everyone because there are parts I like about the in-person studio time too.
I
Right.
have a feeling we won't
Oh,
do this
yeah.
conversation for longer than January. I'm sorry to warn you, but I don't think unless they're going to give us little plexiglass tables, I'm not sure we're all going to be together in January, but
I
maybe.
know.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so either. It
I
won't
don't
be-
either.
we're in it for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Until we have a unified system
World.
from the top. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, even
So-
then, it's just going to take some time.
Carissa?
Have to be-
This is Joan. I would just like to add a comment. I think it's kind of an add-on to what Robin said. I actually enjoyed the studio time quite a bit because I kind of went into my Zen zone there, and there was something about the music playing. You always had music playing. And then just the feeling of everybody else around me doing their work and tearing things out of magazines and painting. And I just called it my Zen time. It was just really nice. I
Yeah.
might not accomplish a lot each class, but I enjoy that feeling. for
No,
part
I
of the
think we'll do a combination, and I'm visualizing us maybe sitting in a circle instead of rows. And yeah, taking
Oh,
breaks.
I love that.
Yeah, taking breaks to incorporate, sharing. I mean, we usually have to stop and let things dry anyway. So, yeah, we'll work it out as we'll get creative. We will create. We will be creators of our new art journaling concept. So
Risa, do you have a poem for today?
I read my poem. Oh no, you know what? I'm so sorry. I forgot to get a poem for the artist creator. So
You had a really good one way back when we had the first journaling class. You had a really good poem.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, you can maybe send it to the class, and then
Yeah, I'll email it to you later when I find it, if I can find that one or another one. Okay, so we do have some journal pages, a few to look at. So I'm going to get my share screen back up and take a look. This is Mary's Joker. She did a sculpture. Isn't that awesome? Are you still here, Mary?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. This is
I
awesome.
had two pieces. This is one, and I had that glass building.
Oh yeah, the glass building. I showed that in class last time. I don't think I kept it.
I wasn't in class.
You weren't here on Monday.
No, because they were power washing and we had no
Wasn't that a thing
electricity.
down at the beach?
Yes.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah, we already showed that.
Well, that gave me a sense like, um, you know, being at the beach itself gives me a sense of freedom. And then having this beautiful, different colored glass building was very, very sense of creation and wonderful. I
Mary, which beach was
That's
that?
it. This is it.
Yeah, I got it. Let me get it up here. First, let's make you a little. So, oh, this is based on the glass house, you mean?
That's the glass house.
Yeah.
The two things are what I sent you for my journal pages. They're basically photos. There isn't any painting in there. But to me, this creation of the glass house, it could go for today, for the artist, just as well as our Joker, and a sense of freedom to build something like
there
that.
Definitely is a correlation.
And the Joker is 76 trombones, you know, led the big parade.
I
Are
love that.
people familiar with that Broadway?
Oh, yes, yes.
musical and
Music Man.
76 trombones.
Right.
Music Man. Parade, 102. He's dressed like in a band uniform. I don't know if you could tell that.
In music.
He's an egg cart.
Mary, we're on the beach. Which beach was this at? I'd love to see it.
And,
I'm sorry?
Henry's Beach, and I
Thank
highly
you.
recommend. And then when you gave us the meditation, this is the writing that came to me, and it actually
Here's
happened.
your other photo that you sent.
Oh, great. It actually happened during the meditation, and I wrote it very quickly. And behind the Joker are my mother's dolls, handmade dolls, the story of costume, if you're interested. And that's my granddaughter, the cheerleader. So I'll read the meditation poem.
Okay.
And so I quickly typed it. I just needed more time for the ending, but stand-up meditation on jester, fool, and trickster. Awareness of my aura 3 feet above me, in front and behind me, on my right and my left, 3 feet below me. No regrets of the past. Burn the scroll of listening to mama, not to become an actress, not to join summer stock. Let it disappear as smoke blown away by the wind. I am in the midst of flowers and fountains. Flowers fill my space, red, yellow, lush green leaves. Petals unfurl within my torso, take the shape of a giant rose, peachy pink, like my pale flesh.
Oh, Mary, I love your poem. It's
That's
beautiful.
wonderful.
Wow.
That's
That was
great.
Good one.
But the meditation, I literally saw this gigantic rose inside my chest unfurling during the meditation. So I just wrote it all down.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome.
Very lucky.
I love what you did with your Joker here with the egg cartons.
He's on the table.
So creative. He's your companion during your quarantine time. He's your buddy.
He's a lot of fun.
He can be your muse. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Just call him Art.
So is this glass house still up at the beach, or is it down?
Oh, they just put it up. It's
Oh.
so famous. I don't remember the artist's name.
Oh, I wonder how long it's
artist
been
put
there.
it there.
Huh.
It's well worth seeing.
Okay, good.
We're supposed to go to Ealing Park after. They move it.
Oh,
I love it at the beach.
Okay.
okay. Here's Joyce's.
So I have to unmute myself, right?
You're,
it
you're
on?
unmuted. We can hear you.
Okay. I talk loud. Okay, so this was fun for me because I actually finished it. And that hummingbird is my Mother's Day card from my daughter. Anyway, so I cut that hummingbird card up.
Is this your healer archetype?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that, yeah, because I wrote, a lot of things came up. Medicine woman, healer, yeah. So I'll read what, okay. This is what I wrote, two things. I wrote a poem that inspired me way back, and then I wrote this about the picture.
Okay.
See, here is a meridian for the heart. If you're ever having a heart attack, you're supposed to bite the side of your nail like that. That's from medical Qigong. I just shared it. So that's the beginning of the heart meridian, goes up and under your arm, but it goes on the inside of your arm. Anyway, I am a medicine woman. Qigong, meridians, massage. I am enjoying exploring. I am a bird dancer too. My healing hands know where to go, back to the self now and continue to grow. So I massage my own body because I can't do massage anymore. So it's really good for me though. So, and then that's where I wrote heal self, even though, yeah, it's interesting. I have to heal myself on many levels, I realize, beyond my physical body, but that's a good part of this class. So this was a poem that came to me sitting on my deck. This was a week ago. Palm tree, tenderly waving, trying to open a new beautiful frond. They're stuck. Golden flowers cover the driveway. Surprise gifts from the immense round tree. So that's something I see off my deck. So thank you. I got
Great. Thank you.
that was, every day I would walk up to it and go, okay, I'll add this. No, I'll add that.
Great. Yeah, I love the hummingbird right in the middle of the hands.
And yeah, those are my hands I trace. So that's for my kids to keep, I figure.
Beautiful.
For a while.
And it's really fun to see it, how it's evolved from when you showed it to us before. And
yeah.
It was just hands.
I kept adding.
Yeah, it's really developed now.
Yeah, I really like it. It's beautiful, your spread.
Yeah, I had fun. So thank you for the encouragement to just lay things down. Try it. That was supposed to be a tattoo on a hand, and I'm learning. With
She has the yin and yang there, the Chinese symbol, which is joining, it's a wholeness.
Yes.
Joining the two parts.
This is what we're doing next week. We're going to do the hermaphrodite androgen, the equal masculine, feminine.
And that's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we'll be going next week. Did we see this one already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we did. That was mine, and I figured out what went wrong. So I sent it later, and I figured out what was wrong, and it was that I sent it to your personal email and it wouldn't go, but then I sent it to the pipeline and it did go through.
Okay. Yeah, my emails are all wacky. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it doesn't go the other way. It's so weird.
So there you go.
Okay.
And whose is this one?
That's mine, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Hi.
Hi, Molly.
Is this your oh, this is your Joker Fool. Okay.
Yeah, my Joker Fool. Last week I was at the doctor's with my husband, so I finished it.
Oh,
so I'll read you my poem. I'm getting more daring with my poem.
Good.
It says, I'm a jester of sorts, a fool, a clown. I encounter numerous problems, but I choose to view the world through rose-colored glasses, through an innocent child's perspective, with a smile, with love, rainbows, and laughter. The monsters still stay there, but I keep them in the background. I'm intent in dominating them with kindness. So that's it. So I found this, it was like a jewelry in the middle, and it sort of folds down. It's like a fold out book. And it has a picture of somebody, a man looking through glasses, magnifying glasses. And then the girls, creating like a heart with their hands, enjoying life. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's Dora with the rainbow and looking at everything. But there's the monster right behind me, and I just choose to ignore it. And as a mom and as a teacher, I feel like I've always kept my smile, and I always keep a positive outlook. So, like a joker, you keep the smile going, but there's a lot of stuff going on inside.
The monster is a bit naughty, don't you think?
I'm sorry? The
Erection.
monster? It looks more like a coronavirus, I think.
Well, that could be the monster.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, Molly. Good job.
Yes,
I like
wonderful.
how you did the purple and white checkered. And you've got these feathers going around. Pretty.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And Karen just sent one in.
Ooh. That's my Joker Fool Trickster.
Okay. Wow. See if I can get it. There we go. All right.
I'm having a hard time with poems. I'm way behind on my poems.
That's all right. No pressure. Not everybody's doing poems.
Great picture. You have an amazing, the 2 pages kind of seem to like before and after, or I'm something, but I'm not. It's
Yeah,
like
it's very.
the same person could be both, especially since she's holding whatever that is, grapefruits or some sort of fruit.
It looks like blood oranges.
Blood orange.
Yeah. And then the pomegranates.
Which is even more exciting. Blood oranges. There she is. Fantasy creature, good or bad, but there she is. And then you have the real face. I think that's so interesting.
It is.
Thank you. What it reads is, take a look at your behavior as it compares to your actual values.
Oh, how wonderful.
Take a look at your behavior as it compares to your actual values. I like that for the
good
Joker Trickster Fool. The Fool.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever you feel like you're missing in poetry, you make up in scissor work. It's beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I
It is.
agree. It
Is
really
the
is.
fool the blonde? Yeah. Is the fool the woman, the real woman?
On the left is the real woman.
Fool.
It was a picture of in a magazine.
She the
This-
fool.
The starfish on her head, does that mean anything?
I just liked it and it fit there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love it. Really nice.
It's fantastic. Really great images.
Thank you. I had fun with this.
It fits because a star could be doing a role, which isn't really herself. And then you have the other one, the Joker, and maybe she's not doing what she thinks she should be doing. She's
Exactly.
going away from herself.
Exactly. And she's trying to hide behind it.
And what's underneath? Is that a frog? What's the creature
Oh,
underneath?
that's a turtle, my turtle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a turtle, which stands for the whole earth. Right. In certain legends, maybe in American Indian, the turtle is the earth.
Oh,
The ancient feminine.
Yeah, I didn't know it
wow.
was ancient feminine.
Yeah, the ancient feminine.
Did you paint hair on the Joker?
no, it came out like that.
Oh, it's interesting.
Up above, it was part of it's a mushroom.
Yeah,
That stuff up on top of the Joker's head was a part of a mushroom.
yeah, it's like that shell.
Wow.
That is
Wow,
something.
Karen. Really rich. Fun.
Thank you. I'm working on my next one.
Good.
Brush in hand.
Oh, are you working now in class?
I am. I've got
Oh.
my pastels that I did, and now I'm painting it.
Hold it up for a sec so we can see what
Yeah.
you've done. All right, cool.
Can she say something so we can see it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can put
Can you
her,
see it?
pin her video, then she'll be much.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Great.
Where is she?
Karen.
That's
Oh,
what I-
yeah.
I can't see it.
It's just like Carissa's.
Yeah, remember to just, follow your own impulses and whatever wants to come out and flow. It's also helpful putting the music on because it does help you go more into your body and more into your kind of flow. And
I don't know if
music,
you can hear my
music can move you. So.
background. I'm
I
sorry.
missed the first few minutes of class. Is it all recorded? Am I gonna? I
Yep.
came